Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Leadnap Gaming. Last week I made mention about longer QT times and that clearly was a popular idea. Today I'll be covering a lot of your comments and explaining a few things from last week's video in better clarity. Right away here I'm going to do something different, since based on the metrics, 1/3 of the audience tuned out ahead of me explaining any part of this. So, for the too long didn't read crowd, here's the longer QT time explanation in a nutshell. 30 minutes of this would be incredibly boring, which is why while this rabble of space rebels was jumping, they did this. The jump wasn't instantaneous, and yet they found a way not to make it suck, which is where a lot of what I was trying to communicate came from. I have absolutely no desire to sit in the pilot seat for 45-minute quantum jumps. I'm sure those people exist, but I agree with all of your comments that would just be a horrible idea. Instead, the point I was making was that once game loops that involve the interiors of larger ships are implemented, we would no longer be trapped in the pilot seat, and longer jump times could actually be beneficial. The benefit was twofold. First, that you would appreciate amenities smaller single-seaters don't have, but more importantly, that you could actually get game time back. I produced another one of these awesome Leadnap graphics for you to explain this one out. In our first example, we have a 15-minute QT time from A to B. B is our rest stop. At the R&R, we need to get some food and drink and have our shield generator be repaired. Now bear with me here on two things. First, we're looking at this as a down-the-road example, where you don't just pull up your Mobi and wait 10 seconds while they fix the ship. Here, you either need to pull the component out and use the repair tool, a feature CIG has told us we will someday have to do, or go to a repair desk or terminal and pay to have it done. Second, time here is a rough approximation, which includes other activities. It doesn't take 10 minutes to buy and eat a burrito and drink a soda. It does take some time, however, to ride the elevator from the pad, walk to the next elevator, ride that one to the Galleria, find the vendor, buy and eat, and return. Might even take some time to find the right food vendor if different foods give different perks. So back to the example. You can see here we're looking at 35 minutes of gameplay. This is the model we play with right now in the verse. It's destination-centric. Now, what I was saying last week is that longer QT times could benefit players because it would save time. Here's why. When the game shifts to a ship-centric model, where you can do most of the things you need to do on your ship, you now fill that travel time. We now have a 30-minute QT jump from A to B. We doubled it. Now, however, instead of playing with your thumbs, you can spend the 10 minutes it takes to prepare a meal in the kitchen and eat it. You can go to the component housing and repair the shield generator. You even have time to change from casual shipboard clothing into something that has a helmet in the event that you land on a pad, not a hangar or dock. Now, I've exaggerated a little bit the times and the blocks here to demonstrate the direct time savings. But there's an even bigger time savings here you're not seeing. You don't even need to go to the R&R now. B can be some other destination. Of course, for this to work, you have to be able to do these things on the ship and not just at the R&R. I did make this point last week, but only 33% of viewers were tuned in at that point. To stress that point, until we can do these things on ships, there is no reason whatsoever to extend QT times. Which is an awesome segue into another point to make from last week. Longer QT times is not a Leadnap original idea. If one goes back and listens to Robert's vision, you're going to see CIG wants to make it so that when you're in a system, even part of the system, you remain relatively local. If you travel to Cancun for vacation, you don't typically plan day trips to Brazil, Texas, Monterey, Jamaica, and Mexico City. If you're in the Hurston part of Stanton, the idea is that local hops to Ariel, Aberdeen, Lorville are quick, effortless, but running over to New Babbage isn't intended to be like running to the 7-Eleven on the corner right quick for a drink. Longer QT time is needed for more than just making big ships worth having. If QT is short to near instantaneous, owning one of these is entirely pointless. Good luck being a pirate of any sort because cargo haulers are going to bounce between destinations in a few minutes offloading and loading. In fact, you can pretty much scrap the whole cargo escort because the best way to not get hijacked is to be fast. At that point, it's actually not even worth mining, salvaging, or anything else because cargo hauling will become the economic meta. To mine or salvage, you have to first go somewhere, then you gotta scan down a wreck or a mineral deposit, then you have to harvest it, then you have to transport it back. It's a whole lot of time when you could just throw some SCU boxes on and make that quick jump to Destination X and sell it. Now I know what you're thinking. I'm trapped in this single system mindset and that we're going to have jump points that take us all kinds of places and that's what will set cargo hauling apart. And it will. But this is where CIG is diverging from the crowd, because jump point jumping is presently set to be far more laborious. Other games make inter-system travel short and jumps long. Star Citizen is setting up to go the other way. The jumps are probably going to be shorter, the inter-system travel longer. Let's head back to the wonderful year 2019 and think about the demonstration Roberts gave us of a Carrack in a jump. In the jump, you actually have to pilot the ship through the wormhole. It's quite active. From a gameplay standpoint, if you had to play this minigame for 45 minutes, you might either rage quit or never jump again from boredom. 10 minutes of Carrack obstacle course flying is going to feel like forever, and it's not going to be something you're going to regularly want to do. More importantly, if you fly a ship like that today with people walking around on board, they're going to have a hell of a time doing anything with the new physics models. Passengers on ships going into jumps are going to be like passengers today on takeoff, turbulence, and landing, in their seat. I mentioned longer QT times because CIG has said it repeatedly about the future of the game. I mentioned the jump mechanics because CIG has shown them to us. We all knew CIG intended long insurance timers. They said it all along. CIG even said you'd be able to watch your ship be built while you wait, which would be lore-breaking, but more importantly, could you imagine how long that timer would take? I'm simply the messenger here, unofficial at that, but I'm reminding you that CIG has said these things are coming. Just like the timing of long insurance timers, I agree. Now is certainly not the time to make QT longer. Now, a number of people were upset that I said the Pisces and the Carrack are not different. This is an exaggerated example, intentionally used, because most people can see why that isn't really the case. It would be like saying a tricycle and this single-seat airplane are no different. The point made in that example is today, you can perform much of the same game loops in either. It isn't to suggest that you should, that you would, or that it would even be the same. The example is to help highlight the larger point we've already gone over, to point out that a lot of the base functionality is currently the same, but someday it will be different. I routinely multi-crew ships today with friends in the verse, and soon enough with some of you, the viewers, too. I've piloted a Carrack through a claim jumper mission with the turrets blazing. I enjoy exploration road trips, grand tour style on planet surfaces. Believe me, I know all the current ways the Carrack is more than the Pisces. Star Citizen is absolutely two games. A game for players who understand its quirks and rules, and one for those who don't. Take bounty missions, for example. You have people who take one and go out and do it, accept the payout, and rinse and repeat. Then you have others who understand there are missions that stack on other missions, that you can double or triple the payout of that single claim jumper mission. Mining's no different. You can take a prospector down, fill it up, and get your paltry 2,000 to 3,000 UEC payout for the last hour. Or you can take the same prospector down and pull $250,000 in 30 minutes. Same is true of capitalizing on sales. The thing here is there's plenty to be salty about in the verse and plenty to be excited about. Which you choose to focus on is up to you, but understand that will cloud your view. I choose to be optimistic, and I'm willing to look at the benefits that extending QT time could bring. Willing to evaluate and talk about how future game loops we're all missing change how we perceive certain ships. To the pessimist, saying that even though the Carrack is completed as a ship, or missing game loops that set it apart from other ships, is complaining. To the optimist, it's saying that the model's complete, but once the drone bay works, once the repair station and terminals and engineering work, the ship's going to be an incredible experience. I'm going to leave it at that today. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I don't employ staffers who read and comment all your comments. If you get a reply from me, it's me writing it. I read all of the comments, and I try to reply to most of them. As always, share this video with your friends and give it a like if you enjoyed it, and I will catch you all next time.